Unit 1, Lesson 2, Reconstruction. Unit 1, Lesson 2, Reconstruction. Reconstruction encompassed three major initiatives: restoration of the Union, transformation of Southern society, and enactment of progressive legislation favoring the rights of newly freed slaves. Reconstruction timeline. In 1865, passage of the 13th Amendment. In 1866, passage of the Civil Rights Act. In 1867, passage of the Military Reconstruction Act. In 1868, passage of the 14th Amendment. In 1870, passage of the 15th Amendment. The 13th Amendment was ratified on December 6, 1865. It was the first constitutional amendment since 1804. It abolished slavery and involuntary servitude in the United States, with one exception: for those convicted of a crime. The President, along with radical Republicans, made good on his campaign promise of 1864 and 1865. A proposed constitutional amendment passed the Senate in April 1864, and the House of Representatives concurred in January 1865. The amendment then made its way to the states, where it swiftly gained the necessary support, including in the South. In December 1865, the 13th Amendment was officially ratified and added to the Constitution. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 declared all persons born in the United States to be citizens, without distinction of race or color, or previous condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, and prohibited discrimination in housing to individuals because of their race or color. It was ratified on April 9, 1866. This was the first time the United States Congress acted upon civil rights of the citizens. The Military Reconstruction Act of 1867 created 5 military districts in the seceded states, except Tennessee, which was previously admitted back into the Union. It required Confederate states to submit new constitutions for Congress's approval. It extended voting rights to all men, even former Confederates, if they signed a loyalty pledge to the reconstructed Union. And it required readmitted states to ratify the 14th Amendment. The purpose of the Military Reconstruction Act of 1867 was to initiate military rule of the South in order to protect black rights and oversee political reunification in an orderly fashion. The 14th Amendment was ratified July 9, 1868. It states that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens, that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, that no state shall deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws, and that no person shall hold elected office in America if they participated in insurrection against the United States. The 15th Amendment was ratified February 3, 1870. And it stated that the rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any individual state on account of a person's race or color or previous condition of slavery or servitude. During the 1870s, more than a dozen African American men, many of whom had been born into slavery, were elected to the U.S. Congress. It was a period of unification that ended all too quickly. One of those elected to office was Hiram Revels, elected as senator from Mississippi, replacing Confederate senator and jailed leader of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis. The end of Reconstruction. The Compromise of 1877 was an informal agreement between Southern Democrats and allies of the Republican Rutherford B. Hayes to settle the result of the 1876 presidential election, and marked the end of the Reconstruction era. Immediately after the presidential election of 1876, it became clear that the outcome of the race hinged largely on disputed returns from Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina, the only three states in the South with Reconstruction-era Republican governments still in power. As a bipartisan congressional commission debated over the outcome early in 1877, allies of the Republican Party candidate, Rutherford B. Hayes, met in secret with moderate Southern Democrats in order to negotiate acceptance of Hayes' election. The Democrats agreed not to block Hayes' victory on the condition that Republicans withdraw all federal troops from the South, thus consolidating Democratic control over the region. As a result of the so-called Compromise of 1877, Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina became Democratic once again, effectively bringing an end to the Reconstruction era. Now we'll watch a short video on Reconstruction. Lastly, we'll work together in our table groups to complete the Reconstruction worksheet for the remainder of class.